Hi guys, today I wanted to explain how I deal with ECG and what's important to note when you're solving ECG questions. I just want to mention that there's not so much questions related to ECG or questions that include ECG in them, so just keep that in mind. And today I just will be telling you if you will encounter some questions with ECG, how to deal with them. So first you have to recognize PQRST complex, and you just have to find not one but three of them and compare these three complexes with each other. Okay, and first what you have to do, you just have to find P, and after P you have to see QRS, okay, and then T, and you just have to say first of all if it's sinus or not sinus rhythm. Okay, how you should know that, just find P on standard, on second standard lead, okay, and after that P you have to find QRS, okay, and if you see after each P QRS you can definitely say that rhythm is from sinus and it's sinus rhythm. After that you just have to look at PQ in segment and just say if there's any issues with length of the segment. Okay, this is not important here. Today we not going to discuss about this. Later I will explain. Then you just have to look at QRS, and again we don't want to talk about blockades today. Just look at R, okay, and compare R with other R and with third R, and just say if it's rhythmic or not, how you should know that. So you just have to look at R if it's regular, if it's the same throughout the lead, so you can say that it is regular. Okay, and then you go to ST segment. What you have to know about ST, if it's elevated or depressed. Okay, about T you just have to know if it's too high or if it's negative. If it's too high you usually dealing with hyperkalemia. If it's negative it's probably angina. If it's stable or unstable, it depends on STEM, what they describe in STEM. Pay attention to that. Next, I just want to say what we're referring to when we say that P refers to sinus node. Okay, when you have sinus node impulse, you have firstly depolarization of this node, and then that depolarization will include this atrial, right atrium and left atrium, and after it depolarizes, it will contract, and when these two atria depolarize, you can see on ECG lead P wave, right? And after synastral node, it goes to the AV node, and AV node role is like something that slows down the impulse from the synastral node, and therefore you will see ST segment here when it goes through AV node. After that, it goes and involves two ventricles by going through bundle of His and Purkinje fibers, and when it goes and involves ventricles, it will be seen as QRS complex, and after it depolarizes, it starts to repolarize, right? And it goes in the other direction, and we can see when it stops and then it starts to repolarize, right? And it will be seen as T wave here. What important as well is location of these nodes. For example, synastral node is located at the junction of the crista terminalis in the upper wall of the right atrium and the opening of the superior vena cava. Don't confuse it with pulmonary veins, which is in left atrium, right? So next is leads. I just want to say that there is first, second, and third limb lead, which also called standard leads, and also we have augmented leads, which is AVR, AVL, and AVF. Then we have chest leads, 6 of them, which is V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, and V6. And we have to know when it's important, why it's important to know these leads. And when you determine what wall is involved in myocardial infarction or stable or unstable angina, right? So I have Lifehack here. I just look at the standard leads, which is 1, 2, and 3, and which one looks like L. It is 1, right? So 1 is lateral. Then we go to the augmented leads and just find AVL, which is also lateral. Then we go to chest leads, and in chest leads we just have to look at localization. So V5 and V6 is most lateral, so V5 and V6 is lateral. Also, you just have to memorize this, like first 2 is septal, then we go to anterior wall, and then we go to the lateral wall. So you say V1 and V2 is septal, V3 and V4 is anterior, and V5 and V6 is lateral. Just practice, just try to digest, and you will get it. Here we got summarization. So inferior wall here is, I forgot to mention here, it is like 2, 3, and AVF. Like in standard leads, most inferior ones, I mean second and third. In augmented leads, it is AVF, and here we don't have any inferior points. So next we go to summarization table, and here we see inferior wall is second, third standard. AVF, it is augmented. Lateral is 1, AVL, V5 and V6. AVR, we don't usually use it. Anterior wall is V3, V4. Septal is V1 and V2. As I mentioned, first you go, when you checking the chest leads, first you go septal, then you go anterior, then you go lateral, which is septal V1, V2. Anterior is V3, V4, and lateral is V5, V6. That's it.